This is Motorslice. Motorslice will be an action-adventure game with an emphasis on a blue-haired tomboy and a megastructure. Motorslice takes inspiration from Prince of Persia and Mirror's Edge, then mixes the liminal space and brutalist aesthetics for the setting. I got to play the demo for Motorslice, and I have some thoughts about it. So, let's talk about it. When explaining how Motorslice's gameplay will work, I want to talk about the platforming and exploration first. The blue-haired tomboy, P, can wall run and jump off them. When she has to jump off higher ledges, she has the ability to do a soft landing. That move will be important to use so you don't stagger in front of machines. Doing this will also make her slide, allowing you to go under stuff. She can climb along the cracks on the wall, and of course, with the chainsaw, you can traverse the yellow parts using the Motorslice. P does have the ability to scan the area, which helps her find more machines and lost drones, and we'll touch on them in a moment. Lastly, when you find yourself in dark areas, the player camera, or B, can turn on the flashlight. So, what about combat? P will have to take out machines with her chainsaw. She has the ability to attack, ready an attack, do a jump attack, roll after an attack, and parry enemy attacks. To parry, all you need to do is attack at the same time as the machine. Readying the chainsaw makes it easier to parry in my opinion, especially as it let me parry the Tonka truck. There will be a QuickTime event for pairing the Tonka truck, but that function isn't in the demo yet. And as far as I experienced in the demo, every normal machine has 1 HP, but so does our blue-haired tomboy. Oh my god. Using this first level as a metric for how level design will go, it seems like it'll be split into 2 sections, inside and outside. The outside seems to focus on exploring and destroying machines to progress. The indoors are transition zones between outdoor sections strictly focusing on platforming challenges. Both sections will have puzzles to interact with and lost drones. Lost drones are placed all over the place and are optional. While finding all the lost drones is easy with scanning, the challenge comes in when you have to bring them back to the cargo triangulation zone without dying. Dying will cause the drones to reset. Throughout the demo, there are places to slack off where both P and Orby can interact with each other. Nothing really comes from the interactions besides flavor text. So far, my favorite part about Motorslice is the atmosphere. You know, the vibes. From the intro alone, only seeing a small fraction of the megastructure to zooming into the tomboy, you definitely get a good idea of how big the place is. Not only that, the game's theming being centered around construction is creative, and I'm all for that. Of course, I also love the art design of the game too. Strictly talking about the character that you play, P, she's cute. That's all I can say about her. I'm gonna need more dialogue from her to gauge whether or not I'll enjoy her the whole time. Admittedly, I did think it was pretty neat that I could interact with her on the title screen. What shocked me, though, is the sound design. I didn't actually expect to like it as much as I did. With headphones on, the sound effects are great. Then there's the music, which I found myself vibing with easily. Apparently, Pizza Hotline is doing the soundtrack, and I think that's a fantastic choice here. How the demo looks and feels as a whole blew me away. In the demo for Motorslice, we do get hints of the world outside the megastructure. From what I could gather, P works for an organization called the Central Slicers. The Central Slicers' job is to eliminate rogue machines. Structures seem to be the norm in this world, but nothing like the one she's in now. To explore all these structures, employees are given Benton tech to help them do their job, such as the drone and the scanner. The drones aren't combat oriented. In one of the moments of slacking off, he mentions Operator G. This tells me one of two things. In this company, characters are given letters as nicknames. Or I'm overthinking it, and P was really given that name at birth. It's unknown as to why these structures exist and why the machines within attack people on sight. I suspect we'll find out why through more hints as opposed to being told directly. I can only hope that we'll find out more about the world through clever means, rather than an info dump or being given less than a bread slice to go off of. World building through mundane conversations suits the game better than either of those two options. The gameplay for Motorslice is satisfying to pull off properly. While combat was simple to get a handle of, platforming took a little bit more time. Not much more, however, I had to remember what it was like playing Prince of Persia. Our blue-haired tomboy controls like a polished version of the prince in Sands of Time. Although in here, you don't have the Sands of Time to have your back. Once I got used to how the character controls, I was less confused and embraced the fact that she controls like this. While I feel like combat was done well, there were only two enemies to try this out on, the scooper and the Tonka truck. Although I will say, despite how easy the boss was, the Tonka truck was actually a fun fight. I suspect that the game will get harder later on. But it was because of the simplicity of the combat, my brain was kinda locked into thinking about the platforming. So much so that I had an idea for it. As I mentioned before, P has a soft land move that helps her traverse the megastructure. The player can jump from a higher ledge, pressing and holding the button to land safely. I think it would be cool to reward the player with a small speed boost for timing the landing just before you hit the ground. Potentially, you could also punish the player for holding the button, although I don't believe it's needed. I also want to talk about alternate paths for a moment. Alternate paths in video games are cool, especially paths that don't quite look like you're supposed to go. You have a really cool shortcut here. Without some sort of skill or tech, the shortcut barely looks possible, so when I finally made it, it felt good. Then there's this path, where it seems like it's the intended path to go when you get the orb below, but you can completely bypass it. And I bypassed it myself on my first playthrough. Going in that direction isn't particularly hard to go, and you don't exactly get a reward for going there. Honestly, having this lone tree here made it seem like this was a slack off area too. With that in mind, I would say you could motivate the player to go that way by giving them a reward, or you can force the player. Personally, I prefer the former of the two options myself, but I would say keep this in mind when designing levels. And those are my thoughts for the Motorslice demo. I'm intrigued with the world of Motorslice and what kind of challenges you'll come up with for platforming. Good job to the developers at Regular Studio. They certainly aren't creating a regular game. The demo for Motorslice is one level, a boss, and as of now, you can play it yourself. I'm not sure if he'll take it down later, or when the full game releases. But for now, try the demo yourself, and wishlist the game while you're at it, as that will support the game. But anyway, that's it from me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.